Welcome everybody to the LCK Regional Qualifiers here for Korea. I'm Valdez, with me is Wadid today, and we have a one best of 5 to decide who is going to go into the next round of the gauntlet. Will it be Afreeca? Will it be KT? We will find out today. How are you feeling today, Wadid?
I'm feeling so great, and finally, we're gonna see KT again after 2 weeks. Wow, that's crazy, no?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because when we were going into the finals, we hadn't seen Damwon for quite a while.
Yeah.
And then they came out with, the form we expected, essentially. And now KT, we haven't seen in a very long time. Even Afreeca, it has been about a week. So a couple of teams that have had a little bit of time off, especially KT, as you were mentioning. And we'll just have to wait and see how they've adjusted to some of the new metas that we've had develop over the course of the playoffs, and who is going to have the stronger mentality going into the next round, because it's not going to be easy up against T1.
Yeah, because you need to play 3 BO5s in a row if you win today. So I think it's going to be mentality fight. And at the same time, Afreeca Freecs and KT, those teams are not considered as good mentality teams, right? Like they fall really fast if they lose all their games. So I think it's their huge homework, but at the same time it's really great chance because they got some break, right? So it's gonna be really new and fresh to see these teams how they prepare this guts line.
Yeah, absolutely. So taking a look at the championship points, because Damwon did win Summer, of course, and DRX got in on points over Gen G with the head-to-head. That does mean that these are our 4 teams that are in the gauntlet, and you'll notice that they're going to be seeded based on the amount of points that they have received. So today is KT versus Afreeca. Whoever wins that goes up against T1, and then whoever wins that goes up against Gen G for the right to go to Worlds in that 3rd seed for the LCK, which, by the way, has now been adapted, with unfortunately the Vietnamese teams not able to participate in this Worlds. That does mean that the LCK 3rd seed will get directly into the group stage, which is pretty nice for the LCK.
Yeah, 3rd seed, you need to play play-ins usually, but this time around it's kind of lucky for LCK, I would say. So it's gonna be really hot, because I don't think any kind of team really want to be out of the season, because it is actually their last chance.
Yeah, absolutely. So taking a look at some of the points of the match, opening match to kick off the regional qualifier, Afreeca had the big upset over their win over T1 and made the playoff round 1 versus KT, who had 2 weeks to prepare. Afreeca versus KT had a neck-and-neck series in round 2. Do you remember that? Was quite the close best of 3. Aiming's Jin stole the Baron, but Mystic closed out the game. How they perform in a best of 5. And that's kind of what you were talking about, Wadid, the mental coming into the best of 5. Will they be able to, solidify themselves and be the better team today?
It's gonna be really focused on bottom, especially I'm waiting for Aiming versus Mystic. Even though KT was not in playoffs, a lot of analysts and casters considered Aiming as a all-pro team, even top 3. So his performance is not there is no doubt about his performance, right? But the problem is, what about their top side and what about their support? Because it was their main issue when they played regular split. So I think that's gonna be huge point for KT. But at the same time, Afreeca Freecs, they just got stomped by Change. So we'll see how they repair the problem this time around.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see as we take a look at some of the stats. You will notice that actually KT Rolster had the best first dragon percentage in all of Summer. That's better than Damwon. That's better than DRX, Gen G, T1. It doesn't matter. KT was the best at that, and they do have a pretty high first Herald percentage at the same time. Whereas on the other side, Afreeca do not at all. Yeah,
I mean, interestingly, they get a lot of first objectives, but at the same time, their game time is really long, which means they're really having some issues about ending the game with the snowballing, right? So I think it's really huge problem for KT, but at the same time, for Afreeca Freecs, I think, again, mentality, especially on Mystic, when he was carrying, Like he was so stable, not dying at all. But when he played against Genji, they just got stomped, and at the same time, like, it was so fast. Like, he was dying so fast.
Yeah. It was not a pretty sight to see if you were an Afreeca fan. And it's funny because it was a 3-0, but it felt long because we had 4 pauses, I think.
Yeah.
Me and Atlas were casting that day. And we thought that day was bad, and then the next day was, like, insane. But either way, these are going to be your lineups that do come into here, and I think the obvious key player matchup will be Mystic versus Aiming. These 280 carries have had some really nice performances over 2020 summer. They just haven't really had the team to back it up, and as you were mentioning, Mystic, it was a little bit hit or missed. Or miss, rather, not missed. Mystic. But Aiming, for sure, definitely had some really nice numbers here in summer.
Yeah, but also for Mystic, he had carry potential. Like, there's no doubt about it. So I think it's going to be really hype matchup, but at the same time, it really depends on support. Ban versus Tushin. And those 2 players are, like, considered as not consistent, inconsistent players. So I think, it's gonna be really fun to see how they perform today as well.
Yeah, will be interesting to see. One of our key points also was that Smeb versus Keen is up on the top side, which, I mean, Keen is playing really well. I think that he was pretty inconsistent in the beginning of summer, but has really come into his own a little bit towards the end. Had some pretty sick Akali performances. I think Akali could definitely be one of our very contested picks in this series. And just it will be interesting to see how he does against Smeb, who has been having also a really fantastic build-up into playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Ellis put Keen on the first All-Pro team, so I mean, there should be a reason, right? So we're gonna see what's gonna happen today. And also, Smeb, like, there is some interesting news that Smeb was actually playing a lot of support role in solo queue. So, like, some people actually expected Smeb to play support this regional qualifier, but today he's playing top lane. Maybe it can be changed, like, during the series, but we'll see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, you know, I don't think that's a bad idea, especially if they go down like 0-2.
Yeah, probably.
Right? It's like, well, might as well give it a shot, right? We have to do a reverse sweep. We have to then go up against T1 and Genji if we are trying to get into Worlds in this manner. And who knows? I mean, just switch it up entirely. Really try to get into the heads of your opponents. And I mean, it looked decent when we were looking at it. I think Sohan was playing pretty well when that swap did happen. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think this first game is going to be very telling about the way that the series is going to go. I know you had some thoughts about this. We were talking about it before the cast.
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be just 3-0 for, like, each teams. For example, if KT wins first game, KT is going to win it 3-0. Or, like, Afreeca wins first game, Afreeca is going to be just get this game as 3-0. Because, as I mentioned, their mentality is weak as a team. As we know, so I think first game matters a lot. So it is really important. But at the same time, Afreeca Freecs choose blue side, right? And they preferred red side before at the playoffs, and probably they changed some strategy this time around.
Yeah, I would imagine so, right? Even Afreeca had an entire week to watch DRX versus Genji, and then, of course, Damwon versus DRX to learn a little bit from that, and just practice a lot by themselves, scrim up against a lot of the other teams and stuff like that. So I would assume that there will be many kinds of strategic maneuvers, let's say, in this entire series.
And especially, I'm wondering if they're gonna think about just AD carry bans on the bot side, because there is obvious OP pick on the bot right now. For example, Caitlyn had 100% ban rate and pick rate as well. So it's banned.
Yeah, and we talked about how both of these teams have really strong AD carry players, so it's no surprise that we already see 3 of them banned out here. You were mentioning how they're pretty OP at this moment in time. The Azir and the TF are also going to be banned away from UCAL. So they say, well, UCAL, He plays a couple of champions. Let's ban them away. See what else he's got in store for us.
And also, most of the AD carries are banned. So we can maybe imagine something like a Jhin or those kind of early prior champions. Or maybe we can see something like Aphelios Kai'Sa, which is late game carry. And yeah, this is actually really aggressive because you normally pick up Renekton for your Nidalee, but this time around, it seems like they just picked up Lucian for top and mid.
Yeah, which is really interesting because you mentioned top and mid. I think also it could be flexed to bot, but most likely it'll go top mid. And that's not a champion that's a great gank assist, right?
No.
Nidalee loves people who can get really consistent stuns down or roots down so that she can land her spear and then go for her combo. But Lucian and Nidalee, they bring a lot of damage, but they don't really work too well together in terms of that gank assist. So Afreeca, they're going to bring out Orianna here for Fly.
Such a great champ for mid priority, but a little bit hard to pull off that ability. But it seems like Fly is having some confidence in himself because, yes, his performance is great in playoffs, right? So that's a great choice. And comfort pick for Ben right here.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because I think the elephant in the room is Renekton.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, when is Renekton going to be picked? Are they just both not going to pick it? Because we talked about all the AD carry bans, but Aiming is going to get his Ezreal here right at the last moment, and KT have a couple more bans to target down Mystic if they would like. We'll see what they do.
Right now, KT's team comp is full of range champions, like poke potential with Nidalee and Ezreal, and 2 AD carries as well with Lucian and Ezreal. But the problem is it's unstable. And there is no CC, and if you want to engage in an important position, then you can't. So I think Afreeca Freecs is more kind of set it up for stable team comp. But at the same time, I was expecting Lilia and Nidalee trade, but like also Renekton and Shen. But interestingly, there is no like Renekton ban or pick, Shen pick or ban as well. So yeah.
Well, they banned 580 carries away, and Senna was also banned by Afreeca. So you've got a couple of choices here. You can go for Jhin. You could try to go hyper carry like a Kog'Maw or a Jinx, but I'm not sure how that's going to go up against this team with the Nautilus in the lane. It's not the most easy position here for Afreeca.
But I think at the same time, maybe it can be really great for Afreeca because KT has no front lane. So if you can hit them, then they're gonna die instantly, right? So I think, as you mentioned, Jinx can be really great as well. And we'll see if Tushin is just gonna play Bard. Oh, it's Alista.
Huh. I was thinking Bard because a lot of the AD carries that are left available, they are very immobile.
Yeah.
You think about Sivir, that would have been the one that, you know, could have had a fun time against Bard, but other than that, I mean, Kog'Maw, Jinx, all of these guys. Jinx gets very fast eventually, but Jhin even. Bard loves Jhin. He's thinking about the Kog'Maw here, though, and it looks like maybe Kai'Sa is going to be the answer. Definitely works very well with what Orianna and Nautilus bring to the table.
And also Lilia. I think those champions are really synergizing well each other's, but it seems like they need strong AD damage on the top side from King right here. Renekton is out.
Camille is available if they wanted to try to bolster their engage.
Yeah.
But they're considering something to blind pick, and it will be the Wukong in this scenario.
It's good matchup for Wukong if it's Lucian top side. There is always all-in potential for him, so... But if they flex it, then you're not gonna have great matchup. Nice. But at the same time, it's gonna be really good matchup for Fly on the mid lane, so it's kind of trade.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose so. Very interesting to see that Smeb is willing and able to just pull out the Malphite here.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you know, we talked about the immobility. Malphite does love that. Orianna doesn't have much. Kai'Sa does have a bit, but Also, especially up against Kaisa and Wukong, the Malphite is going to have a very fun time. So it also adds that really hard engage, which is something you were mentioning that they do not have outside of the Alistar that they picked up a bit later as their 4th pick.
Oh yeah, and also I think KT, they prepared to focus on the bot lane and they did 580 carry bans, right? But at the same time, because of the draft, because they picked Azrael first with Alistar, they're not gonna have bot Priya against Kaisa Nautilus, right? So I'm wondering how they're gonna build up this team comp, especially around Lucian Italy. They're really great and aggressive in the early game, but at the same time, it's unstable, right? There is no CC, there is no front lane. So we'll see how they control and how they prepare this team comp, especially.
Yeah, we talked about the strategies coming into this series, and already we see something that seems to be prepared.
Yeah.
Right? It's something that's met most of practice coming into today. It's not the most ideal composition in the world to go up against, but I do think that it does bring some good value into the composition of specifically what KT has. So either way, guys, we're going to jump into game number 1. Again, this is a best of 5, so whoever reaches 3 wins first will move on to the next stage up against T1, where they will fight off in another best of 5.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. So the momentum is everything. So I mean, I also experienced the regional qualifier when I was a G2, right? So I mean, it's really about momentum, and at that timing, I got just shut out at the playoffs, and we got like 2 weeks of break, and we didn't play League that much at the timing because of the mental. So it's all about mentality and like how you approach to the ban picks, because I mean, in this kind of important match, I think the champion mastery, like your champion mastery, is more important than like meta champion, those kind of thing, right? So
this is really awkward, actually. With the passive coming in, Yukal is going to have to flash away at a minute 25 into the game, and also taking a huge chunk of his health. So really awkward start here for Yukal, just trying to get the good trade onto Fly, but Ben was right there to shut him down.
Yeah, great start for Afreeca Freecs already, because as mid Lucian, I think it's really important to have early game Freya, but I mean, if you lost your Flash, even though it's Lilia Oriana, you're gonna have some rough early game.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be pretty awkward here. Fly has missed a couple of Qs with his ball, which, you know, definitely could have been landed, especially before Yukal picked up his dash. But either way, looks like should be just fine here. You see that Fly did go for biscuits in the mid lane, so he'll have a nice amount of sustain.
Yeah.
So far in the bottom lane, looks like Aiming and Tucson are doing a decent job of pushing forward.
Yeah, because they didn't leash and Afreeca Freecs did. It's kind of like how League works. And Kaisa is gonna just get slowly get back the pressure, and Italy is gonna be bot side. So I'm wondering if they are thinking about like invading enemy red side jungle with this Lucian Italy, and I think they should do that as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. We'll see if they actually do go for it. We were taking a short look at the top side, just to note that Smed looks just fine.
Yeah,
he's you know, he's just chilling out, and that is one of the reasons why they did go for that Malphite. I think that trying to neutralize Keen is always a good idea whenever you're playing against Afreeca. So this might be one way that they decided to go for it.
Yeah, and KT, they already decide to just go towards bottom side. So Smap's job is just chilling on the top side and just not dying under the turret.
Ben has played 19 games of Nautilus this year. Or this summer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, yeah.
You were talking about comfort. This is about as comfortable as it gets for both teams.
Yeah.
And, well, here comes Bono. Just gonna... Okay. Nice little spear. And Fly doesn't have any kind of defensive summoners either. He went for teleport here, even up against the Lucian. So You can see he's just trying to survive after that one. I thought maybe Bono and UCal could have set something up, but they decide to just take the safe approach.
Yeah. Nothing is like happening especially. Because I mean, that's what Lilia wants and Nidalee wants, just farming faster than any jungler. But I mean, as you can see, like bot lane is already like comfort zone for Afreeca Freecs because they have better combination in the early game, and it's gonna help Afreeca Freecs. But the mid lane is really going spicy with their trade.
Yeah, you could see UCal is pretty low, but he's got biscuits of his own, so he's able to get some of that mana back to start some of those trades and threaten lethal once again. You could see that fly though, he was just desperately trying to push that last wave and then go for a back. Looks like UCal is just going to let it reset and go for a back himself, as he does not have TP. Doesn't want to get TP'd after pushing when he's got no health and mana, and then be in an awkward spot because he can't mirror with his own TP. So picks up the Cull and a Null Magic Mantle, and he's going back to mid.
Oh yeah, I mean, Afreeca Freecs' gank potential on mid lane is all about damage, right? And they have like AP based, most likely. So I think it's really great choice. And at the same time, even though he lost Flash at level 1, he did a great job on laning phase. So I think everything it seems normal right now, but I think the balance is really on Afreeca Freecs' side. So KT is the one who really wants to break up this balance from Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah, I mean, so far they're not really able to do much in terms of that effect. The first dragon is a Infernal Drake, so we'll see if either team wants to make a move towards that. Now would have been a good time actually for Bono to go straight there, but looks like he's going for the Scuttle Crab. A little bit of an easier objective. Tucson here, winning in the mid lane, and look at UCal trying to bait this out, wants to push him out of the lane with the culling, and we'll be able to get Fly quite low in this lane.
By the way, just so you know, this Alistar has Phase Rush for main rune setting, and he has no Kalista. So if he fails once, then he's just gonna die like many times. So I think it's really important for Tushin to control himself to not die a lot of times this game.
Yeah, especially before level 6. I think after level 6, he does have some options. And Tucson, a very experienced Alistar player himself, so going for a little bit of a more risky setup. I don't mind it here, but that is definitely a good point. We'll see if Tucson can make the big plays as this game does come along. But so far, it's just been 7 minutes of farming, as nobody really has been making any moves on either side of the rift.
Yeah. Slight CS lead from Afreeca's bot lane, but that's how it works in Kai'Sa and Ezreal matchup. If Ezreal has some defensive support, yeah, I mean, I would just rather just pick Aftershock when I'm playing with Nautilus, because like you're gonna get hooked, but if you have Aftershock, it doesn't matter at all, and you don't even need to proc your ultimate, right? But yeah, I mean, I can see some like rapid engage with Malphite. Then it can be really great. So we'll see how it works. But Afreeca Freecs, they're more proactive with their advantage from both sides. So they got the first straight cleanly, and it's really good start from them.
Yeah, absolutely. It was uncontested, right?
Yep.
I mean, Bono was nowhere near, and of course KT was pushed in, as you mentioned, so it's kind of just sitting back. See that Ben is kind of pretending like he's not here, maybe looking for the follow-up, but no, just gonna run back into lane, and we will continue our farming simulator. And yeah, not much else going on.
Yeah.
Just everybody sitting back. Keen has been, for now, effectively neutralized. This top lane has also been quite boring. Not much else happening up there, which is always going to be pretty good for Smith.
Yeah, and as you see, Fly already knew that this game is going to be really long game, so he got tier first. What a smart choice.
Wow. Yeah. It's a great choice. I think that given the somewhat squishy nature of their team as well, that extra AP with Seraphs and the shields will be pretty nice as well. Okay.
Fancy.
Yeah. He looked cool. He was just saying, you know, Spirit, get out of here. This is our Rift Herald.
Yeah. I mean...
And KT, once again, gonna up that Rift Herald percentage.
Yeah. Such a great play by aiming. Just breaking up their tempo with Ezreal ultimate helped KT to get free Herald on the top side. Small detail, but that's why we consider aiming as a top 3 AD carry in LCK. Smart player, but at the same time, really great mechanically.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. I think he's, well, here we go. UCal trying to put that culling out, but Ben is right there at the right time. Otherwise, he may have been able to force that flash out of fly.
2v2.
Here comes Spirit. Yeah, it is going to be a 2-on-2, and I think this is going to benefit KT. Let's see, the knockup comes in. The Spear is not going to hit anything, and that is a huge amount of damage out. Can they still win the fight here? Smev is pretty low. The first blood will go over to the side of the Wukong, as Bono, he's going to be scratching his head after that one, but either way, even so, is still going to be able to come ahead of Spirit in the after trade. As another engage here, but again, not much happening there.
Oh yeah. I mean, on the top side, I felt like KT could just win it hard, but because of the decoy usage from King, he didn't get hit by Malphite ultimate on the top side. So I think that was pretty lucky for Afreeca Freecs that they didn't get too old on the top side.
Yeah. And it looks pretty silly that the spear did miss, of course, but as you're mentioning, there's decoys involved. I suppose he really wanted to get onto the Wukong.
Oh, yeah.
But I think if you just throw that spear straight into Lilia, you could probably just one-shot her and then move on. But either way, kind of threw it down the middle there, so gets the field goal. And not a bad trade after all. KT slightly ahead in this one, mainly because of the massive lead in the jungle farming that is coming from Bono over Spirit here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, another missing.
And now he's in a little bit of trouble. Thankfully, he's Alistair. Otherwise, I think probably just would have died. Not the best look from Tucson here. You know, maybe I caster cursed him and said, you know, he's very experienced. He's very good on the champion. But
I mean, yeah.
He misses 2 combos in a row. That's, you know, he's got to do better than that. He's one of our veterans here on the side of KT.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that critical, but at the same time showing, 2 missed combo for audiences is not, great impact for himself.
Exactly. Yeah, it's, you know, it's not like those, you know, those combos would have changed the game or anything, but it definitely leaves us well...
Yeah, his performance is not great again. Then, that's
Yeah.
not the result that he really want to have right now, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure. And you can see Bono is up here on the top side. Looks like Keen was able to catch wind of that. Probably a ward was somewhere out there that got seen. And with the Rift Herald that was picked up way earlier, they're just going to be able to get this first blood turret up on the top side pretty easily. You see that Spirit is finally up in the top. And in fact, the turret's not going to fully go down, but it is quite close, as they did get 4 of the plates so far.
The jungle difference is actually pretty huge, even though there is no kill impact. But Bono is snowballing pretty well with this Nidalee, getting topside plates, and also just running around all the maps to release the pressure from the matchup, especially on the bot side. It's helping a lot for their team, and I think if they can get this second break, then the snowballing is real from KT side.
Well, we'll see if they can. I mean, it looks like Bono's just going to get to work on that. We got a couple of members of Afreeca around, but you can see they're back pinging around this little, you know, elbow brush to the left of the Dragon Pit. So they're like, I don't know, we have no vision. We have no idea if they're doing it or where they are. They could be invading. And that just means that they have to give up map control and give over the Drake. So now we got Mountain Soul in this game, which means that one of these sides could potentially pick up 3 Mountain Drakes, which could be pretty massive, especially for that Malphite.
Waiting for worldwide frozen gauntlet, right?
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a lot of defensive options for these players. Keen waiting now, seeing if he can get Lilia in here. A lot of armor built up already by Smeb, so he really needs the HP chunking and AP damage out of either his jungler or his mid laner. You can see that Smeb is being smart. He's not overstaying his welcome. Just going to back away and deny us some more action.
I mean, just so you know, Afreeca Freecs is not in hurry because of their team comp, right? I mean, if you have Orianna with Tier and Lilia in the jungle and Kai'Sa, Nautilus, Wukong in the team fight, then I mean, I'll be fine with just giving up some Drakes and just waiting for the late game. Especially when enemy team has such a squishy and risky team comp when you compare their team comps, right? So I think they're just taking it slowly.
Yeah, might as well. Just sitting back here. They're about 3,500 gold behind, and they did go over that Ocean Drake. I wonder how many Mountain Drakes they're going to consider giving away, because as you mentioned, certainly a lot of defensive items can be picked up from the side of KT with this momentum that they have, and stacking, of course, with the Mountain Drakes. So just waiting on that one.
Pretty interesting that the Tushin picked up mobility boots, because I mean with the phase rush it's pretty synergizing well with the swiftness, right? So
yeah.
very interesting, but at the same time reasonable, because you want to pick up some more sneaky moments with Alistar. So we can expect some flank from Tushin, some experienced engage that you mentioned before.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to make sure that you get those engages off alongside of the Malphite, just to get in there at the exact right time. And yeah, Smeb just going to take away Shirley here. Gets that second Rift Herald just for him. And yeah, you mentioned that Afreeca can sit back. PT, they're kind of just waiting for, you know, a couple of items to come out here. I think that the Ezreal Lucian can be quite strong at 2-3 items here. So maybe just wait for that, a couple of Mountain Drakes for your Malphite and your team specifically, because of, you know, double Merc Treads are being built. The Frozen Gauntlet probably going to come out here from the side of aiming. So certainly they could be really, really strong at around 25 minutes or so with a couple of Mountain Drakes under their belt. So we'll see if anyone decides they want to have some action here. Yukao misses with his W on the cannon, as I lose a couple more hairs. And yeah, we're just sitting back.
Oh yeah,
we're just sitting back, relaxing, you know, just watching.
Yeah, I mean, for KT, their late game is also great. I mean, you have unkillable Malphite on the top side, and at the same time you have Aiming's Ezreal with Spear with Yuumi in the jungle. So I mean, their late game is also fine, but my worry is that if they fail to kite around, then they're gonna get one shot by Orianna and Wukong in the team fight, right? And Kai'Sa jumping into the back line. So I think Afreeca Freecs.
Oh, okay, really nice flash out of Fly. That was perfect timing. He's gonna get the follow-up ultimate onto Smeb, but there it is, the mobility of the Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
And the ability to get in there makes it so that Afreeca pick up a kill, and it's going to go into the pockets of Mystic, which is exactly where you would like some of that gold. And the timing is quite nice too. It's not going to totally deny aiming from the dragon fight, but certainly is going to make him a little bit late for it.
I mean, this is what I was talking about. Team comp difference. Yes, they have some damage, but where is CC? Where is your chain CC? Or like Afreeca Freecs in skirmishes, they're better. Just basically.
Well, you can see what happens here in this fight. It's kind of broken, and aiming is just really out of position. He's all by himself down the river. He's like, I guess we gotta join up for the 5v5, but runs straight into 2 or 3 Afreeca members and just gets caught out there. You know, if Malphite and the Alistar are going in together onto a couple of flashless targets, it could be nice, but if you're just letting your AD carry go for free, that's not so nice. And even after all that, even after the Ezreal goes down, it's still going to be the Mountain Drake going the way of KT.
Oh yeah, great objective control still, but yeah, I mean I think KT they do not need to just engage like right away and look for straight up 5v5 because of the team comp. They can just kite it out, wait for poke from aiming and Bono, and then maybe you can look for some flanks or engage. But yeah, they just need to synchronize and try to understand what they have right now. The tools, I think they can kite it out pretty well.
Aiming, not thrown off kilter by getting killed there. He's just going to take the turret by himself, essentially. They had the pressure from Bono to help out there.
Oh yeah.
And no vision in the jungle for the side of Afreeca, so just a nice little take of the bottom turret there goes to the side of KT. You can see that they have their eyes set now onto the mid lane turret if possible. It's pretty low, so we'll see if they can get a push going down there.
And it's gonna be just fully tank item build from Spirit with Lilia. It's gonna be Deathman's plate for the second item, right?
Yeah. Looks like that is going to be the choice, and I don't mind it, especially if you're picking up Mountain Drakes, and with some of the crazy damage that the side of KT do have, and some of that engage, you're just not going to be able to dodge unless you do have flash. So he's like, well, if I'm just a little piece of paper, I'm just going to get burst down and do nothing. So might as well build some tankiness in this game. And of course, the Deadman's Plate not so bad on Lilia. But we'll see where he goes after the Deadman's Plate. You know,
yeah.
If he continues into just tankiness, or if he goes for something a little bit more hybrid or AP-wise. Maybe it will just be the one-off of the armor item.
I think you must have Leandris on Lilia. I mean, that's just the way how you play Lilia, right? And I mean, and also aiming is fully building up for a tankiness. It seems like he's going for Death Dance for third item with this Mountain Drake. And yeah, I mean, it reminds me one of the game when Ezreal had such a high number on armor, and it is gonna be the game.
Yeah, I mean, this is the perfect setup for it, right?
Yep.
They even gave up that first Drake on purpose, maybe to get 3 Mountain Drakes and scale that up a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, Afreeca are still waiting. You see that they're just still sitting back. Maybe they want to wait for 3 items, Kai'Sa and at least Leandris on Lilia, but you're giving a lot of value over the side of KT by just, you know, handing Mountain Drakes over and not fighting for it. But you know, we've seen teams that do try to force fights, and then we criticize them as well. So it's kind of interesting to see the other side of it, where the team just kind of takes the super passive approach. But we'll see if it pays off for them.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I don't know when Afreeca Freecs is gonna decide to take the fight, because it seems like they're just giving up like everything, every single objectives that they have, like mid turret and also bot turret and top turret, and they lost the Drake as well. So I want to see more of synchronized team fight or objective control, like vision control as well, because I mean they synergize really well if they group as 5, but they were just farming, and I don't know like what timing they're waiting for.
Yeah. That's exactly it, right? Like, what is the timing? Are we waiting for 2 Mountain Drakes to the side of KT? Is it going to be Mountain Soul and 3 item Death's Dance crazy armor aiming? Or are we thinking that we're going to fight over this next Mountain Drake? Because I don't think you could just keep giving objectives over and expect to win this game, scaling aside, especially because of the way Drakes went and the way that KT's comp can itemize. So you see that Afreeca are grouping up for it now. Doesn't look like they want to give it away for free this time around. But Smev in a nice spot here is going to find Keen and deny that flank from the side of Afreeca. So immediately now Wukong is in an awkward spot.
I mean, remember, if KT just instantly engages and look for the fight, they're gonna lose. They need to kite it out. They need to poke them down with their team comp and take it slow. And otherwise, Afreeca Freecs is just gonna win 5v5 straight up. So, okay.
Yeah, the ultimate forced out here from Tucson. Really nice follow-up engage. Comes in and flies, disappears. The follow-up engage, though, from Keen might be enough. In comes Mystic. Great knockup comes in, and they have the damage in the back line, but it does look like Mystic is in a little bit of trouble. It's going to get collapsed there, but Ben and Spirit still left available. It does look like, though, well, Spirit's quite fast, so he might be able to get away. Tries to throw the bowling ball over Malphite's head. But at the end of the day, it is just Lilia and Nautilus, and with Bono still available, does look like KT will pick up another Mountain Drake in this game.
Great one-shot combination from Smap and Tushin on Fly. That was really impactful. And Fly couldn't do anything. Like, he didn't use ultimate, he couldn't use flash, and I mean that made huge difference. Yeah.
Seraphs.
I mean that made like huge difference because like Afreeca Freecs, they had the chance to win the team fight, right?
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely did. You see the latter half of this one. I mean, King did so much work up on the top side, and Mystic did a great job of assassinating, aiming at the same time. So there were little moments where it was like, oh, maybe Afreeca can actually turn this one around. But absolutely the engage helping out KT so much, and with every single Mountain Drake that gets taken down, I feel like the chances for Afreeca to win this game grow slimmer.
Oh yeah. Stack some more armor and MR items, and it seems like it's pretty unkillable at this point when aiming gets that stance for third item. And yeah, I mean KT, they understand what they can do in a team fight positioning. So I mean I just want to shout out to Smap right now. I mean, he spotted out Wukong so many times, and at the same time he got the right engage at the right timing. So great Malphite plays, and yeah, they just need to keep it up. Otherwise, I think Afreeca Freecs is gonna win the team fight with their team comp. That's why they built up this team comp in the ban picks, and they waited so many times with giving up some objectives. So I mean, there is still potential for Afreeca Freecs, right?
I suppose so. Still ways to get that kind of wombo combo fight off.
Oh yeah.
But the way these fights have been going have not really told that same tale. And aiming so close to his death stance now is going to be a huge menace in these fights coming along. Does look like UCal went for the crit Lucian build, and we'll just be looking to two-tap some of those squishy targets on the side of Afreeca, who, again, they don't have any Mountain Drakes.
Yeah.
They don't have too much tankiness outside of, surprisingly, Lilia, who is going for not Leandri's third, as you were talking about, would be necessary. He is, I want to take another look at exactly what he is going for, but it is another tank item. He has built the beginnings of potentially like a Spirit Visage or something like that, so just full tank essentially after the Runic Echoes here from Spirit on the jungle Lilia.
Yeah, I mean, interesting choice because, I mean, KT has some tank line, and if you have Leandris with Lilia, you can actually melt them with the damage, but yeah. I guess they're just looking for late game at this point. But, and yeah, I mean, the structure that they had was fine in the team fight, but I think Keen and Mystic, they should look for same target in same positioning, because last team fight, again, they were splitted. Mystic was looking for aiming when Keen was just killing 3 targets at the same time, right? I think if Mystic jumped in, or where Keen jumped in, it could be better. So I think they just need to synchronize what target they want to look for in the team fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that just pushing on in, it looks like Afreeca was able to find a little chance to just maneuver on in. You see, nice amount of damage anyway, even without the Leandris, but just imagine how much better it would be, especially against the tanks, as you were mentioning. You could just even throw bowling balls and feel happy about it.
Yeah.
You know, chunk down Smith, chunk down Lucian, or not Lucian, Tucson. And, you know, you could just start the fight off with a nice amount of poke. Their composition doesn't have too much of it. I suppose Kaisa W and maybe the Oriana's got a little bit, but I think definitely a bit better poke on the side of KT, but either way, we got the next Mountain Drake coming up, and this is for the Mountain Soul. Smeb is just literally a rock at this point in time. The spear is going to go wide again. That's quite unfortunate from Bono.
I mean,
he wasn't able to line that up again.
Yeah, it was full tank Lilia, and Smab just ulted him on a single target who really want to just tank for the team. And I mean, it worked out for Spirit, yeah? And there is no Malphite ultimate just right now.
Yeah, that is true. And you can see that Afreeca, they're pretty... They would love to start a fight right now.
Oh, yeah.
They want to put on the pressure right now, especially because that ultimate does go down. You see that Keen was able to go top side and start pushing that one, but both top laners have their TP, so it's not going to matter too much. And you can see that Smeb's cooldown is over halfway complete. So
pretty quick.
Yeah, it's pretty quick, but it's not going to be on time for this fight. So they're going to have to maneuver around that. The True Shot Barrage not going to hit anything at this point in time.
Soul point for KT.
Yeah, they're looking for it here. Smeb is in the mid lane. The spear's going to land, and they're just going to give it over to the side of Afreeca, surprisingly. The follow-up engage comes in from Zeus, and there's the phase rush. Nice amount of damage coming out. The loading Lullaby onto the Ezreal, and there is this Afreeca engage. They get 3 in the back line, which is just gigantic, as Aiming and Tucson are so low. And they're going to be hounded down till the end of time. The Sombrero, they're not going to be too much, and Aiming is just so tanky at this point, so he's somehow able to get away. But at the end of the day, still a nice team fight here for the side of Afreeca. They get the Mountain Drake and 3 kills to boot.
Yeah, it's really easy to take the team fight with Afreeca Freecs because they have so many CCs, and that was really great engaged by Spirit. And I mean, I was expecting Nautilus ulti on Ezreal, but they put so much on Zhonya's target, which is Lucian. So it was not that clean, but at the same time, pretty well synergized when they have to fight. And yeah, I mean, here they could look for Ezreal, but interestingly, they only focused on Lucian.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit you know, just trying to go as fast as possible, just going for the front target. But as you mentioned, you got to know that he's got a stopwatch in this scenario.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like he did not. But either way, it is broken now, so maybe for the next fight. And Afreeca were somehow able to pick up that Mountain Drake, especially after the Malphite ultimate was gone. The Malphite is quite literally just a stone wall at this point in time. He's got only tanky items and basically will not die.
Oh, yeah.
So if you get him to get those engages off and somehow you know, protect your team against engaging from the side of Afreeca, which, by the way, we saw their engage is quite strong, especially with the Wukong. Keen is just doing so much work for his team right now. It's pretty insane.
But you need to remind that Kai'Sa is such a great tank killer, and Smeb is looking for the engage from the bottom side.
Okay, well, they're going to get the flash out of Mystic. That's not half bad.
Oh.
Blind trying to do his best. Oh, that is massive! The bowling ball comes in and is going to put 3 of them to sleep, but where's the follow-up? Finally, Keen is going to come in from the right side. And I say finally, but at least it's on time. Aiming is so damn tanky. Somehow, it's not going to go down until just now, but this is going to be the clean ace. KT way overextending in the mid lane. And will be giving these objectives over to the side of Afreeca. They're considering going for Baron, but you see pings down in the mid lane. Looks like maybe they want to split their attention with all 5 members up.
Oh yeah, their team fight is just way too better when it comes to straight up 5v5. Great reaction by Mystic at the same time. And also Spirit. I think his Lilia is the best engage ever I saw with, I mean, in LCK. Like, those 2 engages in the team fight, that made huge difference.
Yeah, and Keen's positioning, of course, with the teleport coming in. It was good they had a ward right there because it was quite literally the perfect angle.
Oh, yeah.
You can see Smeb, he doesn't die, but he doesn't kill either. So he's just sitting there like a brick wall, not doing much. And, you know, I don't know. They were reaching pretty far down the lane. And they got really strung out. You saw that the Orianna ultimate this time around from Fly was finally good. And it was good when he needed to be. So definitely some good stuff from him there. And Now, I mean, you're looking at Afreeca heavily in the lead. We got Mountain Drake in a minute, but I'm not sure if they're necessarily going to need that, as they are pretty much 5,000 gold ahead after that fight.
Yeah, I mean, again, they shouldn't look for just flashy engages from KT side. They should look for pokes. They should kite it out. I mean, that's how their team comp works. But it seems like they're in a hurry. But they don't need to be hurried because they can just push them out with their abilities. And they could get the better vision control, but right now they're behind, so they need to pull the trigger at this time.
Yeah, you can see they're, well, this is a little bit awkward. Ben trying to cut them off in the mid lane. Not gonna do too well. And this time Keen doesn't have that flank teleport positioning either. So just trying to spread it out, make a line. That dredge line, though, is going to sail wide. Keen also waiting in the wings. Finally, a nice spear coming down onto Ben. And we'll see if KT can finally, you know, get this Malphite Alistar engage off, but
slowly.
Smeb here.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty tanky. They're trying to turn now onto Keen. Perfect knockup onto 3. We'll see what else he can get. They're trying to burst him down, and do they have the damage? Yes, they do, but Lucian immediately going to go down. Take a look at Mystic just ripping through 2 people. He's going to get the 1 as finally the shockwave will come out, and Mystic comes in with a perfectly timed stopwatch as well. Make sure that he can survive, and Afreeca will easily win this fight. Mystic gets 6,480 damage in that last team fight. It looks like they want to push and potentially end.
Yeah, I mean, Kai'Sa can kill Malphite easily, and yeah, that was great positioning by Keen, and just understanding how they can win the team fight. I mean, it seemed like way too easy for Afreeca Freecs at this point. Because of the item difference, because of the knowledge about the team comp. So they're going to take the game 1 right now.
Yeah, looks like they're going to close it out here. 36 minutes in. Afreeca will be able to shut it down. So GG. Congratulations to them. They take the first win, but of course it is still a best of 5, so we'll see what they can do. Wadid, you've got to vote for the player of the game.
Oh, true.
Curious to see what you're going to go vote for, I would imagine. Mystic could be up there. Keen had some pretty sick engages, but I'm curious to hear your opinion.
I'm going to go with Spirit, though, because of the engages.
Really?
When they were behind, I think that's the most important timing that they need to come back. Like, the first team fight that they had at the Drake Pit, I mean, they were behind at the timing, by the way, because they gave up so many objectives before, and the positioning, the vision control, right? But because of Spirit's engage, and at the same time, like right after that, he had such a great 3-man like ultimate again on the mid lane. So I think he made the huge difference, and because of that, Keen could lend us such a great engage with Mystic. So I think Spirit deserves player of the game this series. I mean, every player played well, but it was a little bit slow.
I would imagine that, you know, Keen and Mystic are probably going to get some votes, but I would agree that, you know, it's like the critical time in the game, right? Who was performing to allow your team to actually come back and have a chance? That is definitely very important. So you could see aiming, he was tank Ezreal and was doing a nice amount of damage himself, but unfortunately not able to do much. And Spirit's also going to take this victory with the full tank Lilia, which I saw he had a blasting wand built going for his next item. I don't know if he completed that. I didn't see it myself, but looks like he was going, you know, after a couple of tanky items at least, into some more AP and some more damage. So definitely some interesting stuff as we're going to take a look at the highlights from Game 1.
It could be clean 2-0 top side 2v2, but KT misplayed hugely on the top side. So I think that was really critical. And also this one, they were looking for different targets at the same time, mid lane and bot lane. So they lost the lead from the laning phase, but Smash, like with flashy engage with Lucian, that was great though.
Yeah, you gotta like it. You know, some of their mechanics were certainly on point. I think some of KT's team play does need some work, as Afreeca did prove that they were the better team coming back from behind. Here in game number 1, I think that's always a great look if you're the fan of that team. Great engage here from Spirit. He gets the most important target. Ezreal is slept up until he gets knocked up by Keen, and he really doesn't do much at all in this fight. So as you were mentioning, Spirit getting that big engage around the dragon when they needed it most.
Oh yeah. I think because of this team fight, they could just win it automatically. Yeah, this team fight was just right after, right? Great reaction from Mystic and also Fly, and this was just top, like cherry on the top, right?
Yeah. This was pretty massive, and Keen was easily able to follow up because of what Spirit was able to set up, predicting the flashback to join the other 3, catches all 3 of them in the lilting lullaby. And poor Smeb up against Orianna and Lilia on the Malphite. Oh, yeah. That's definitely not a good look. So I wonder if they're going to be playing this Malphite maybe into a different composition. We could see it, but certainly didn't get as much value as we, maybe would have expected. As Mystic had a fun time in this one towards the end. Also had a very great game.
Oh yeah. Every team fight that they had was just so simple, and I mean, because of their structure, right? I mean, they built up for this, and I mean, especially their performance in general was fine during the laning phase, KT. But yeah, I'm wondering if this Alista pick was prepared from Tushin, because I mean, he did nothing in this game, right?
Tucson, yeah. That was not the Cal performance we were expecting from him. I hope I didn't cast a curse him, and maybe we'll see Smeb down in the support role for game 2. But surely they're going to have to mix something up, because I think from this game 1, straight from the get-go, we can kind of easily see that Afreeca do have the better play today. And I think going for some kind of a big mix-up on the side of KT might be nice, especially if you can allow aiming to get some carry potential going. So guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go to game number 2.